Alrighty, so I just finished watching both the videos for class, and I wanted to start out talking about the Hans Rosling video, and I really liked how he started out with the story with his grandma, because my grandma, she's actually from Sweden too, and she would tell me all the time about how back in her day and back in Sweden, they didn't have washers and dryers, and their country was a lot poorer than the United States, because she ended up moving to the U.S. When she was about my age and went to school. And it's just funny how his grandma watched this cycle go on and on and on, and how entertaining that is, and how not growing up with that type of technology, it would seem like a miracle. And it's amazing how much I've noticed the world changing. I remember the first time I bought my first CD player, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I saved up my money for this $20 CD player, and that's what I listened to all my music on. But nowadays, I have an iPod, I have a phone, I have a computer, I got Spotify, I have all these different ways to listen to music, and I have all this technology that I didn't even have 8 years ago. It's just crazy to see how much time has changed, and how what Hans was saying about how pretty much every home is filled with a machine, whether it's a fridge or a dishwasher or a washer and dryer or a TV, and then a lot of impoverished countries, they still to this day are still heating their water and having to walk all the way across their village to wash it and wash their stuff in the well or in a river. And it was time consuming. But nowadays we have all this technology where we can get anything done in a matter of minutes. And what I find most intriguing is how even a couple years ago I had a flip phone, and now I see pretty much everyone with an iPhone, and I just think, how can people afford this? Those things are like $500. I don't understand. And just to finish up with the Hans Rosling video, how population growth and economic growth increases energy use. So he was basically saying that the more populations grow and the more time passes, it seems like everyone's going to catch up. Even the impoverished countries are making improvements every day. And the way to conserve energy is just to be more efficient and to be more green. I'm not 100% sure how that's all going to be solved, but it's definitely a starting point. And it's just amazing how much time has changed, and with industrialization, how much energy and technology has improved. And then with Cheryl Wu-Dunn's video about how our century is our greatest injustice, I took a lot of notes on this, and I guess I can just go through and kind of reply to what I wrote. So she talked about this 13-year-old named Daima Ju. I love how I'm not even looking at the camera. They didn't have bikes, they didn't have electricity, they didn't have running water, and I have all of that. I don't know what it'd be like to not have those things. That's what I grew up with. And she was in 6th grade, and her parents had to pull her out of school because the $13 fee was too much. I'm pretty sure we pay thousands of dollars to go to school, and $13 is a big deal. Back in, pretty sure she was from Africa. But then she was the best student in her class, and they still pulled her out. But then, just giving a little bit of money, and people heard her story and would give donations. And that $10,000 that was donated, not only did it help her, but she ended up giving that money to her family, and some of it to the village, and some to the principal of the school that she went to, and was able to give some girls scholarships in order to go to school. And then as more children and more girls are able to go to school, they can get more jobs and have more opportunities and ability to help their families and not only themselves. Just as we invest in girls' education, it can change not only the lives of that single girl, but all the other women. And then she also talked about the 2 tenets of her idea of half the sky, and one was gender inequity, and she was talking about totalitarianism and slavery. And then she asked this question, do we think there's more men than women in the world? And I always thought that there was more women, and in a sense that's true, but then she went on to talk about how a lot of those women that we don't see, or I forget where she was going with it, that they are kidnapped. And it's just, it's mind-boggling to see how poorly women are treated. She showed a picture of this girl in just this health facility, or I forget where it was, but the little girl was fine, but then her brother's in the same exact family. Wait, she wasn't fine. She was starving and very skinny, but then her brothers were completely fine. And then you just wonder, like, why are they treating even the own daughter in that family different than their sons? I don't understand. And then she was also saying that from ages 1 to 5, 50% die at a higher mortality rate than men. That's quite a lot. And then as we put aside mortality and think more about the practical side, what she was talking about, the solution is education, and then that gives more jobs to women. And then poverty. Poverty is caused by overpopulation and spending, and the reason why people are so poor is because, especially in poor countries, the less money they have, they tend to spend that money irresponsibly, like on prostitution and alcohol and drugs and whatnot. And I found it interesting how she said that women are the solution and not the problem. We all think that the women are the problem, that we need to educate the women, all about the women and making the women better. It's true. There's a lot of sex trafficking in this. Okay, modern slavery is 800,000 times more than it used to be. And back then, in today's dollars, slaves were worth